All the stress of this year has taken a toll on our bodies, on our hopes, on our spirits, that will require for many of us months, if not years, to heal. Nonetheless, we are resilient. This is not the first time we have dealt with difficult situations, experienced great losses, and felt hopeless and alone. Our bodies and brains try to make us forget those painful experiences, which is completely normal, right? It's a survival response. But let's remember that you are all here. No matter how difficult the journey may have been, and I'm sure there's emotional and physical wounds and scars that can demonstrate that you are all here, which tells me that we are resilient. We have an innate ability to propel forward, to overcome adversity, even in the darkest of times. So when I first started doing meditation, I like to use some form of scaling because it gives us perspective of where we were before and where we were after. So I want you to take a mental note right now where you are with your anxiety from a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being no anxiety, it's almost like you're sleeping, and 10 where you have high anxiety, where your thoughts are constantly racing, maybe your body is shaking uncontrollably, your heart rate is, is fast paced and your breathing is shallow. I want you to take 30 seconds and just rate from 1 to 10 where your level of anxiety is. And we can jot it down somewhere or take a quick mental note. Just take 30 seconds. Notice if you feel anything on your shoulders, any tense muscles on your arms or on your legs. All right. So I made a mental note of where I am in my anxiety, although mine's a little bit different because I'm on the spot. So, but I want you to stick a quick mental note of where you are with yours. Now, as you may be able to hear, I have a sound in the background. I have waves in the background. So if you're having a hard time hearing, I'm gonna raise the volume a little bit. But if you have headphones, I recommend those. If not, that's okay. But I will have that in the background throughout the meditation. And before we begin the meditation, I just want folks to take a quick minute to absorb the artwork that we have up and let your eyes wander and see where they take you on the artwork. Does it invoke any feelings, any memories? Does it invoke any thoughts? I noticed that it has a full moon, which we recently experienced this past weekend. Yeah, it reminds me of a night at the beach as well. Hey, one of my best memories. Can you picture yourself in the place where the person is standing. What do you think the person is thinking or feeling? I now want to draw your attention to your present self. Please find a spot wherever you are that feels comfortable. It could be a chair, a couch, a bed, or even the floor. Let your body get comfortable and relaxed. Notice your body become calm, releasing any tension on your shoulders and arms. Maybe place them by your sides and your lap, wherever it feels comfortable. And now I want to draw your attention to your breathing. And for this, I'm going to ask if you could please close your eyes. And I want you to breathe patiently and evenly in and out through your nose and mouth. Count out 3 slow and perfect breaths. 1 long, full breath in, and 1 long, full breath out. Again, with a full, slow breath in, and a full, slow breath out. One more time, breathe in and breathe out. Finding a balance between letting go of controlled breath altogether and still aware of extending the length of the exhale. Take a note of how you're feeling right now in your body, in your heart and mind. Ask yourself, what's present in my body? Maybe you notice physical sensations, discomfort, ease. What's here? Are there any emotions present? Where in your body do you feel your emotions? Notice what's here without self-criticism, without self-judgment. Notice what's here with an open heart, a loving kindness, a sense of compassion. To help us tap into that sense of compassion, we'll repeat to ourselves a few phrases. The first is, these feelings are not mine alone to carry. Secondly, there are many others who feel the same way I do. Third, I accept these feelings, thoughts, and emotions as a shared human experience. As you say these phrases, notice again if there's any reaction in body, heart, or mind. These feelings are not mine alone to carry. There are many others who feel the same way I do. I accept these feelings, thoughts, and emotions as a shared human experience. Be kind to yourself. Accept how you are feeling and extend yourself compassion. Next, bring to mind a loved one, someone who you know personally, someone who is very dear to you. Maybe someone you haven't seen for a long time and miss very much. Visualize them sitting across from you, right here and right now. Take note of this loved one in all their complexity. Recognize they too feel anxiety, difficulty, or pain. They too have good and bad days. And they too have struggles which you may or may not know anything about. See if you can feel in your own body, heart, and mind what your loved one might be feeling. And then intentionally send them the following phrases. What my loved one is feeling is not theirs alone to carry. There are many others who feel the same way that they do. May they accept these feelings, thoughts, and emotions as a shared human experience. And then from your heart to theirs, send them kindness. Send them acceptance. Send them compassion. Imagining them across from you. See them having received your wish. See the ease and the joy that arises. As they begin to understand they're not alone. Healing begins when we find connection with ourselves, with others, with the things we love. Hold on to this feeling. Remember it. I want to now redirect your attention to your breathing. Feeling your chest and stomach rise when you inhale and sink down when you exhale. Let's also focus on the sound of the ocean, hearing the waves crashing against the shore, the calmness and tranquility. I now want you to imagine yourself at the edge of the shore, imagining the breeze as it caresses your skin, letting the water touch your feet ever so slightly, pushing and pulling at your feet. Imagine the water taking some of your anxiety away, pulling it away as the water hits your feet. Giving the ocean permission to help you heal. Notice the sensation. Visualize expelling your anxiety from your body. Feel it as it drains through the top of your body down to your feet, releasing it to the water. After thoroughly visualizing yourself in the water, and you're ready to come back to the present moment, allow yourself to come back slowly by bringing your awareness to your hands and feet by gently wiggling them slightly. Feeling your body where you are sitting or lying, maybe slightly shifting your body, bringing more awareness of the present moment. And when you are ready, open your eyes. Take a quick moment to stretch if you need to. Move your head shoulder to shoulder. If you need to stand up, do so. Bring some circulation back to your legs or arms. All right, hope everybody is finding their way back into being here. And as you do so, let's quickly do the scale again to measure how we're feeling right now in terms of our anxiety. We'll use the exact same scale from 1 to 10, where 1 is no anxiety at all. It's almost like you're falling asleep. And 10 is high anxiety, where you're shaking uncontrollably, rapid heart rate, shallow breathing. See if you notice the difference. If you like to comment on the chat about where you're at, great, 1 or 2. That's really good to hear. Excellent. So just take another minute to bring yourself back and do like a little body scan, how your body's feeling. Oh, wow, 5 to a 2. That's really good. That's really, really good. Excellent. So let's take a quick moment, a quick minute, and look back at the artwork. Do you notice something you didn't notice before in the artwork? Has it invoked any new feelings or thoughts? Did it come back at all in your mind while you were doing the meditation? Oh, those less clouds? Excellent. I did a run through, I was telling Joe, I did a run through with my mom, and she noticed that the picture seemed brighter afterwards. And that it's almost like she was flying through the skies. She mentioned at the very beginning, she just flew. It's like she escaped. Great. Thank you for 5 to 3.5. Wow, that's great. That's great.
Yeah, the blues are wonderful. And I also liked the comment about the clouds. Before we had the session, we had someone comment on our Facebook account about the clouds and said that the branches have fallen into conversation with the distinct clouds, which I thought was a really lovely comment by an alum, Philip Cott.
Oh, yeah. Were any of you able to picture yourself where the person is at the beach, at the shore? Oh, that's great.
So one person asked about the title. So the title of this work is Spring Moon. There's a longer title, Spring Moon at Ninomiya Beach, which is located just sort of on the southwest of Tokyo on the Pacific coast. So it's a specific location. I was curious if there's a certain aspect of the work of art that anyone finds most engaging when looking at it, that they're sort of drawn to a certain feature of the work.
Oh, yeah.
It's very dramatic moon, right? Thank you, Lizzie. Do you want to advance the slide once?
Yes.
And the clouds. Here we can sort of zoom in a little bit. And this print is a Japanese woodblock print. So when you see a different color in the work, it's because the printer has added that color to the block. It's a relief block, meaning that you start with generally a piece of wood, and the parts of the wood are carved away, and the ink remains on the surface of the wood. And so to achieve color, you put a different color on the block and you print it onto the paper. And then you would ink the block up with another color, and you would line the paper up exactly to print the next color. So you have a layering effect of the beautiful colors that are used in this print.
That's
Somebody mentioned
incredible.
the horizons and the light on the water. Um, that really reflective quality is one of the things that this artist, Kawazi Hasui, is known for, capturing atmosphere, um, sense of the weather, and uh, the reflection of light.
It truly is beautiful.
Do you want to advance one more slide? So here you can see that conversation with the clouds,
Mm.
the pine trees. And this is a pine tree. Pines have really wonderful symbolism in Asian culture. They are symbols of endurance um, and sort of strength. This idea of sort of enduring the hard winter and being evergreen as pines are. You can advance one more slide. There we go. So here you can see the lower right corner of the print, and you have inside the image, you have the artist's name. The calligraphy that's carved into the block in this case is Hasui, and then the red chop down below is the artist's family name, Kawazi. Some people have thought that it's a play um, or a double entendre on the word water with the three drops in there. And in Hasui, which is his artist name, Sui means water. So it would be sort of a visual play. The other inscriptions are identifying the title of the work and giving sort of a description on this side, and then on the other side, off screen right now, but you would see the names of the printer, the carver, and the publisher. You can advance one more slide back to the whole. So I was curious after this wonderful meditation and I thought it was very evocative of sound. If looking at the work, does anyone have a sense of smell? Since this is a very sensory experience, do you can you envision the smells that you would experience in this environment?
As you mentioned pine, I can almost smell the pine from the tree. It's one of my
Pine is a
favorite
wonderful
scents.
smell, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
pines coming through strongly, the salt,
Oh, yes.
clear air,
Mm.
sea air.
Mm.
In addition to the pine being a wonderful symbol of endurance, it's also from the pine resin that they would make black ink. So they would mix the resin with oil um, uh, uh, and then that would be made into the ink, the black ink that we see here. So I think there's a wonderful sort of symmetry between the materials themselves, the symbolism, and the visual imagery. Does anybody have any other aspects of the work that they find interesting or want to comment on? I think it's also a wonderful print to talk about in terms of texture, not so much the physical texture, but the implied textures and how the artist achieves this the implied differences of texture in the work.
Mm.
That's a very good question. Janice asks, is that why there's so many Asian paintings about pine trees? We actually had an exhibition just a little while back about the three friends of winter, pine, bamboo, the plum tree. These are reoccurring symbols that we see quite a bit in Asian art. And many of them are symbols about longevity and endurance and sort of going through the harshness of winter. And like the cherry trees, for example, or the plum blossoms, the renewal, the regenerative quality of the spring flowers. Mentioning the shadows under the pines. Yeah, I really love the contrasts of light in this work. The darkness of the trees, right, and the rocks in the foreground, but then really giving away to, and I think someone mentioned this as well, the light in the horizon. It's a really beautiful,
Yeah.
it really draws you in and gives you this incredible sense of depth, which was one of the features that was sort of new in printmaking. This is a Shinhanga print, and which means new print. And these artists that were active from the early part of the 19th century, around 1915, active for a few decades, they were making prints in the style and the tradition of ukiyo-e prints from the Edo period, but now they were combining them with these wonderful new elements of perspective and light, and sort of influenced by other traditions. You could say some would say from the West, but they were combining together different interests. And a lot of this has to do coming out of a very a period of rapid industrialization in early part of Japan, and people were nostalgic for images of nature and going back to older traditions. And this print is part of that milieu of making these nature-based contemplative images. What did someone say?
I think someone's asking if the first one says if the painting looks like it's midnight, and I do think it's a nighttime, right? It reminds me of a time when I went. I mean, there's a beautiful feeling that I remember from walking at a beach at night with nothing around and just having the moon guide me. This reminds me of that, where the moon was bright enough to where I can walk, and brings back really good memories of that. But I do think it's at night. I think it's a midnight.
It is a nighttime scene. Actually, if you advance the screen one more, Libni, that would be great. And that's where people can see the artist name. So Kawazi Hasui, Japanese spring moon. Go ahead and advance once more. Here are some other moonscapes by the artist, by Hasui. The two that you see, one in the middle and the one on the right, actually all of these are in the Allen's collection. But what I love about the middle and the right is that you can see how with these individually hand printed works of art, these wonderful woodblock prints, that you can have variations in color, right? And so so clearly the one on the right has a stronger purple in the background, and more browns, reddish browns in the foreground. But he's well known for these nocturne scenes, night paintings, or night prints, excuse me. Can you advance once more? And also for images of weather, like so the rain coming down or snow. Again, these are all prints that are in the Allen's collection. And what's interesting, I think, about all three of these is they were done in 1930. So a number of prints that Hasui was making. You know, he in the Great Kanto earthquake of 1923, he unfortunately lost his home, and the publisher that he was working with lost a number of his woodblock prints. And so we're now 7 years after that earthquake, and many of the sketches that he did, he had almost 200 sketchbooks that were destroyed in that earthquake.
I'm so sorry.
And so he, you know, continued to travel around Japan and do these wonderful watercolors that he then built up into these beautiful prints. You go ahead and advance to the next So I just thought I'd throw this in. This is a rather recent acquisition to the collection. This one's Washington Monument on the Potomac River, 1935. Not that Hasui came to the United States, he did not. So, but he was commissioned. It was a private commission to do the Washington Monument with these cherry blossoms, and the cherry blossoms had been given from Japan to the United States, to the U.S. government, as a symbol of friendship. And that was done in 1912. Actually, there was an earlier gift of these cherry blossoms in 1910, but unfortunately, those ones had a blight. Had bugs. So they were given another gift, 3,000 cherry blossoms in 1912. And this print in 1935 commemorates the first Cherry Blossom Festival.
Wow, it's beautiful.
And if you advance once more, it brings us back to our print. So I was wondering if there's, it looks like I'm a little over. So is there anyone who has any last comments or anything I missed? Liz, did I miss anything in the chat?
I do notice that somebody mentioned the lantern. I think they're referring to the calligraphy at the corner. And then I think Steve said that there seems to have the light rise from the earth rather than from the moon in the other pictures, which it does seem like that's the same perception that I got when you mentioned that comment, Steve.
That's nice. Yeah, I think, yeah, it does look like a lantern, but it's actually a symbol of the artist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You mentioned the family name, right? That's the family name?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Very
Mm-hmm.
cool.
Kawazi. And he wasn't born Hasui, that was his artist name. So that was given to him by a master that he studied with.
Yeah. I find some parallel with what we have been going through in terms of how he had to rebuild, right? After losing so much of his artwork. We talked about this yesterday, how this becomes part of people's identities, right? Their artwork, it becomes like their kids, and to lose them is really hard. But again, as we talked earlier, that it's like we just have this ability to try to move forward, not necessarily disregard the loss, but this innate feeling of having to move forward, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
So many parallels.
It is. It's true. And that sense of resilience, whether it's in symbolism or in spirit, it comes through.
Exactly.
Someone asked if these are currently on view. They are not currently on view, but we do have rotating quite frequently. The Japanese woodblock prints rotate in exhibits.
Yeah.
So I don't see any more questions or thoughts. So thank you so much, Libni. I've really enjoyed talking with you about this, but really in particular enjoyed the session, this a chance to just take a moment to calm and reflect. So thank you all for being with us.
Yes.
We so appreciate your spending some time with us this afternoon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Ciao. Bye.